Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Anthony Crofasi, functional medicine practitioner, double board certified in clinical nutrition. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a leaky gut syndrome and food sensitivities and how these two things are highly interconnected. In our clinic, as well as when we work with patients remotely, we often see these two things in conjunction with each other because it's very hard to have one without the other. So that's what we're going to be going over today. So if you know someone who's dealing with leaky gut syndrome, or you yourself are, and or food sensitivities, make sure you stay tuned to watch this video, like, share this information. So, what is a leaky gut syndrome? Bottom line is, leaky gut is, you can think of it as if you left your screen door open on a hot summer day and you have holes in the screen door. Well, what will happen? Well, bugs and other particles will start flying through these holes in the screen door and get into your home where you do not want them and they don't belong. You want to have that home protected, so it's a barrier system. So, with a leaky gut syndrome, essentially what can happen, and we're going to draw this here really quickly. We'll draw the inside of the digestive tract here. Okay, so here's the inside of the digestive tract. And with leaky gut, essentially what's happening is you are having holes in your digestive tract or your barrier system, so things are leaking into the bloodstream. Now, the important point here is that you have proteins that stabilize in your digestive tract, this single-celled layer digestive system. Now, remember, your digestive tract is one big long tube from your mouth to your anus. So it starts in your mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, colon, and anus. For this, we are primarily talking about the small intestine here. However, this can occur all over the body where you have these barrier systems are exposed and things can occur and get inside the body where they don't belong. So within this single cell layered tract stabilization system, you have proteins that keep these cells strong and prevent them from opening up too long or too wide. With leaky gut syndrome, what can happen is these proteins now become essentially weak and the stabilization structure is not there. Whether that's coming from the microbiome or the good gut flora in the stomach, in the digestive tract, not the stomach, or somewhere else, or being caused by something. The bottom line is that what happens is these cells become open and now stuff starts to enter or leak into the bloodstream here. So, what can enter the bloodstream? What would cause this? Well, one of the biggest things is foods and food sensitivities. You can also get things like chemicals and toxins and all these other things that we're exposed to in our environment. So there's a lot of things that can cause leaky gut syndrome, but food sensitivities is one of the major ones because we're constantly exposed to foods. And if our body does not react to them properly, and if it causes an immune reaction, which we'll discuss, then you can get leaky gut syndrome from this and food sensitivities. But as well, any chemicals. So we work with patients who have been exposed to chemical toxicities from, whether they're in construction or paint or, all these different things. We can test for this and see how it's actually affecting and your immune system is reacting to it. And then you must address it. So, bottom line is that foods can enter into the bloodstream. So these cells and the proteins become weak, they become open. Now these things start to enter the bloodstream. Now what happens? Well, now your body starts forming an immune reaction. And over time, if this occurs over and over and over again, what's going to happen is your body's going to start an immune reaction that's mediated by a chemical known as an immunoglobulin or antibody. And this one in particular is immunoglobulin. I'll write that here. This one is immunoglobulin G. Now, immunoglobulin G is more of a systemic, chronic, long-term exposure immune system marker for food sensitivities and other chemicals in the environment, you name it. A lot of different things that we check for with this stuff. So immunoglobulin G is what can cause this. Now what happens is your body has mounted large enough immune response that now you are able to identify this on a food sensitivity test. So these are known as delayed food allergies or food sensitivities. Now this is much different than what your traditional doctor or allergist will be looking at. They are looking at something different known as IgE or immunoglobulin E. So this is IgG here, right? So this is IgE. That's what they're looking for. That's the skin test, scratch test, prick test on the arm or the back. Okay, they're looking for IgE. That is immediate hypersensitivity to foods. Okay, so these things like shellfish, peanuts, strawberries, whatever it might be, you most often, when you're growing up, know if you have an allergy to something that's mediated by this right here. Okay, your throat gets itchy, maybe you get hives, and severe reactions, people get anaphylactic reactions, so shock, their throat closes up, they need EpiPens, steroids, Benadryl, etc. All these other things, right? So this is immediate. What we are checking for is a delayed reaction. The other one, so this is chronic exposure. The short-term exposure that we're also able to look for is immunoglobulin A. So for all of our patients with leaky gut and or food sensitivities, this is what we're testing for. These are the delayed ones. With these types of reactions, you can get reactions, which we'll talk about here in just a second, different symptoms from anywhere between 12 hours to 3 days after you eat these foods. And this is how it's related to a leaky gut. So if you've been eating these foods, this can occur. So some of the symptoms that you can get with this, they vary from person to person. This is why proper testing is crucial. But you can get things like digestive problems. So gas, bloating, diarrhea, IBS symptoms, Gas, bloating, IBS symptoms. You can even get things like heartburn, GERD, which is still related, but it's a totally different topic. All right, you can get things like fatigue, headaches or migraines, right? Skin rashes even. So the symptoms of leaky gut highly vary. Remember, this is totally different. They highly vary from person to person. So we have patients who are experiencing all different types of symptoms, and while they could be related to leaky gut and food sensitivities, there are many other things that they could be related to as well. So that's why we have to assess all of these things. However, this is why it's so important to do the proper testing. So we can look at, but we less often are looking at IgE, and we're more looking at IgG or IgA, and both most of the time, because we want to know the delayed reactions. Again, the traditional allergists do only check for IgE. They're not going to look for this other stuff. So this is essentially how leaky gut and food sensitivities are related. All right, as we said, leaky gut, you have holes in the digestive tract. Foods can enter, cause an immune reaction because now your body is not digesting them, breaking them down, causes an immune reaction, which is mediated by often immunoglobulin G and or A, depends on the patient, the condition, all these other factors that come into play. You can get symptoms such as these as well. So what we do for all of our patients is, number one, we are able to check for leaky gut and food sensitivities, identify the issues, and then resolve them, get them back to health. So I hope this video helped you. Again, this is a big topic, but we're spending a little bit of time on it here today. And so if you're dealing with leaky gut and or food sensitivities, or know someone who is, family member, friend member, a loved one, make sure you share this information with them. We work with patients, I work with patients both in person in our clinic as well as remotely. So if this is something that you need to get done, the proper testing for this, and need to resolve, our information is in the box below. There's links and all that good stuff. So again, I'm Dr. Anthony Cufrasi. I hope this video helped you, and have a great day.